before we talk about whether this is a test, just tell me, do you think this chemical attack will change the situation in Syria?
Sadly speaking, I don't think so. I think we have seen more horrible attacks happened in the past, in 2003, and the international community was unable to do anything. The institution that where the framework where the institution, the international community is working is an outdated Security Council, is unable to respond to the international conflicts that are happening in the world, mainly Syria these days. So there is a paralysis in the Security Council. These resolutions that we are seeing today, they're not going to yield any results.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because it was the Russian representative who actually was admonishing the West for not taking any action in the past, alluding to the red lines that Obama had set should chemical weapons be used, and then stepping back from the breach when, in fact, there was evidence that they had been used in the past. What did you make of the US representative, Nikki Haley, who happens to be the coordinating chair at present, who closed her remarks by saying if the United Nations consistently fails to act, then it will be up to individual states to take their own action. We will, as an organisation, drill down on what it is from her that she meant. But what do you think? What do you read into that?
Well, in order to understand this, actually, we have to understand it in its context, as we have to read the U.S. position as a whole. Nikki Haley, the same person, was making statements on March 31st that removing the Assad regime is not a priority for the Trump administration. This has emboldened the Assad regime to take such actions and to behave the way that he's behaving. Now we are seeing, yes, a completely different position from what we understand or what we can read of her statement in the Security Council.
Is this confused, or is this bargaining? Is this negotiation? Or is this something that none of us have read, that cloaking one position, as it were, would reveal a completely different one? Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying, don't you?
There is absolutely an entire confusion over the whole process. Yesterday, President Trump was blaming Obama for the red lines, and this doesn't say anything. Does that mean that he has green lines? Because I mean, we have seen only the blame game. We haven't seen anything that's coming from Trump himself. Now this position, yes, it's alluding for some sort of an action, potentially, but we don't know yet because the other statements do not support it.
When we heard from the US, we heard from Russia, and we heard from Syria itself. We'd heard earlier from the British and from the French. What we haven't heard from other stakeholders. This is such a complicated and convoluted, multi-layered conflict, not least with stakeholders like those from here, Qatar backing the rebellion, certainly in the early days, if not still.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right, Becky. This actually adds huge pressure on the stakeholders supporting the Syrian revolution. Mainly, as you said, I mean, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey. And this is a test of credibility. It's not about only the financial support that they give to the opposition, but now it's a test of their relationship with the U.S. administration. To what extent that diplomatically they're able to impact the Trump administration position over this and seriously support the Syrian opposition.
Yeah,
but there are other stakeholders like Iran, for example, that are part of this as well. And this adds a huge pressure differently on Iran because it raises the issue of complicity of Iran with the Assad regime, because let's keep in mind that Iran was a victim of the chemical weapons back in the 80s in the war with Saddam Hussein, and now we are seeing that Iran is moved to the other part of the process, to the other end of the process, which makes it complicit if this proves to be the Assad regime who's behind.
And you provide some excellent context to what, as we have described, is such a complicated and multi-layered conflict. But what we do know is it is killing people, and it is killing people in the most ghastly fashion. Thank you. We've certainly heard outright condemnation from the Qataris and indeed from the Turks earlier on today.